Have you ever looked at a crow, a raven, perched on a fence post or soaring on the wind, and felt a strange, inexplicable chill? Not of fear, but of recognition. As if you were looking at a living secret, a feathered enigma that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the whispers of prophets, and the very dawn of creation itself. What if I told you that this bird, this creature of shadow and intelligence, is not a random act of nature, but a key? A divine key, placed deliberately by the hand of God Himself into the pages of the most read, yet most misunderstood, book in human history. We are taught about the dove, the lamb, the lion, but we are never told the truth about the raven. Its story has been sidelined, its purpose obscured, because the truth it holds is too powerful, too paradigm-shattering for casual understanding. Today, we are going to unlock that truth. For the next 2 hours, we will embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about the Bible, about the nature of God, and about your own place in the cosmos. We will descend into the depths of ancient languages where a single mistranslated word can hide a universe of meaning. We will cross deserts with prophets and sail on floodwaters that submerged a world. And on that ark, we will find our first clue. A clue that begins not with purity and light, but with a creature of the void. If you have the courage to see the scriptures not as a simple story, but as a complex coded map of cosmic reality, then keep watching. Because by the end of this, you will never look at a black bird the same way again. You will have uncovered a layer of hidden knowledge, a secret doctrine that connects the biological, the mythological, and the theological into one breathtaking tapestry. This is not just a study, it is a revelation. Our story begins, as so many do, at the very beginning, in the void, in the formless, empty darkness before God spoke light into existence. The Hebrew word for this primordial nothingness is tohu wabohu, a chaos, a desolation. But within that chaos, the Spirit of God was hovering. Now, consider the raven. Its plumage is the very color of that primeval void. It is not the color of evil, as later tradition would mistakenly claim. No, it is the color of potential, the color of the unformed cosmos, the blank canvas upon which God would paint creation. This is our first, and perhaps most crucial, misunderstanding. We see black and think of sin, of absence. God uses black to signify the raw material of existence, the fertile darkness from which all light is born. The raven, therefore, is a living symbol of that first foundational state of being. It is a creature born of the void, carrying the memory of creation within its very feathers. But the next part of this connection will surprise you even more. Let's travel forward in time to the story that every child learns in Sunday school, the Great Flood, Noah, the Ark, the pairs of animals, and the sending forth of the birds to find dry land. The dove is celebrated, isn't it? It returns with an olive leaf, a symbol of peace and God's forgiveness. It becomes the icon of the story. But what about the first bird Noah sent? The first emissary from the ark was not the dove. It was the raven. Genesis 8-7 tells us, "And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro, until the waters were dried up from off the earth." Read that again. It went forth to and fro. It did not return. For centuries, commentators have painted the raven as a failure, a disobedient creature that preferred the floating carcasses of the dead world to the safety of the ark. This is a profound misreading, a failure of spiritual imagination. Think about it. The raven was released onto a planet entirely covered in water. There was no land. The dove confirmed this, returning twice because it found no place to rest. So what was the raven doing? It was flying to and fro. The Hebrew word used here implies a continuous sweeping, patrolling motion. The raven was not failing its mission. It was fulfilling a different one. It was a scout of the abyss, a solitary sentinel navigating the new watery world. It was comfortable in that liminal space between the drowned old world and the emerging new one. It did not need to return to the ark because its purpose was to inhabit the transition. It is the creature of the in-between. This is a quality of God, himself God who exists in the spaces between, who is neither fully immanent nor wholly transcendent, but both. The raven was God's chosen agent to patrol the chaotic waters, just as the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the deep in Genesis 1. The parallel is stunning, and it is not a coincidence. It is a divine pattern. But to understand the full weight of this pattern, we must now look at another towering, mysterious figure in the Bible, the prophet Elijah. After his triumphant confrontation with the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, Queen Jezebel threatens his life, and Elijah flees into the wilderness, despondent and suicidal. He lies down under a broom tree and prays for death. And what happens? God sends an angel to provide him with cake and water, strengthening him for a journey. But where does this journey lead him? To Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. And how does he get there? The Bible says he walked for 40 days and 40 nights. But who provided for him during this immense journey? The text is clear about the initial angelic provision, but the sustenance for the long trek is a mystery. Unless we look to the original Hebrew texts and the ancient Aramaic Targums, the interpretive translations. Some of the most fascinating Jewish mystical commentaries, the Midrash, suggest that the ravens who fed Elijah by the brook Cherith earlier in his ministry never truly left him. They whisper that these same ravens, these intelligent, loyal servants of God, were the ones who continued to sustain the prophet through his epic 40-day walk through the spiritual desert. They were his constant, unseen companions. Why ravens? Because ravens are survivors. They are opportunists, yes, but they are also incredibly resourceful and loyal. Science now confirms what the ancients knew intuitively. Ravens mate for life. They have complex social structures, and they can solve problems that stumped primates. God didn't send a gentle dove to care for Elijah in the harsh, brutal wilderness. He sent the toughest, smartest, most resilient creature he had. A creature that could find sustenance where others would find only death. The raven, therefore, becomes the symbol of God's provision in the wilderness of our souls, in our most desolate and desperate hours. It is not the provision of gentle comfort, but of rugged, unyielding survival. It is the grace that enables us to take the next step, even when we are walking through the valley of the shadow of death. And what comes next in our exploration may change how you see the very sky forever, for we must now ascend from the earthly stories and into the realm of pure symbol, into the books of wisdom and prophecy. In the Song of Solomon, the bride describes her beloved's hair as black as a raven. This is not an accident of poetry. In the symbolic language of the ancient Near East, black hair was a sign of youth, vigor, and virility. It signifies a prime state, a peak of power. The raven's blackness is again reframed not as a mark of mourning, but of potent, vibrant life. Now, turn to the book of Job, one of the oldest texts in the Bible. In chapter 38, God finally speaks from the whirlwind, and in a breathtaking litany of cosmic power, he challenges Job. Who provides for the raven its prey when its young ones cry to God and wander about for lack of food? Here, God himself claims a direct, personal relationship with the raven. He hears the cries of the raven's hungry young. He is their provider. This directly shatters the later man-made religious tradition that labeled the raven unclean in Leviticus. Yes, it was listed among the unclean birds, but we must ask why. Its dietary habits were considered abhorrent, but this legal classification was for a specific priestly purpose, for a specific people at a specific time. It was not a divine condemnation of its essence. In fact, God's rhetorical question to Job elevates the raven to a position of divine dependability. God is saying, I care even for this creature you dismiss as a scavenger. I am intimately involved in its survival. This forces us to re-evaluate our entire system of clean and unclean. It suggests that what man may deem impure, God may use for his most sacred purposes. The raven is the ultimate paradox, biblically unclean, yet divinely employed. This paradox is the key that unlocks a secret very few people know, a secret buried in the very name of this bird. The Hebrew word for raven is orev. Now, linguistics is a field where secrets are hidden in plain sight. The root of orev is connected to the word erev, which means evening. Erev is the time of day when light and darkness mingle, when the sun descends and the world is bathed in twilight. It is the threshold, the in-between time. This is not a linguistic coincidence. It is a theological statement. The raven is the creature of the threshold, the guardian of the transition between one state of being and another. It was there at the transition from chaos to order at creation. It was there at the transition from the old judged world to the new cleansed world after the flood. It guided Elijah through his transition from despair to divine encounter at Horeb. And this leads us to the most breathtaking connection of all, one that bridges the Old Testament and the New in a way that will send shivers down your spine. In the Gospels, at the baptism of Jesus, the Spirit of God descends like a dove. We all know that. But why a dove? Because the dove symbolized the end of the flood, the peace after the judgment. It was appropriate for the beginning of Christ's ministry of peace and reconciliation. But what if the raven represented the beginning of the process? What if the raven symbolizes the necessary journey through the judgment, through the chaos, through the wilderness, to reach that peace? Christ himself endured 40 days in the wilderness, tempted and ministered to by angels, mirroring Elijah's 40-day journey, a journey we have postulated was sustained by the spirit of the raven. The raven, therefore, is the unsung hero of the dark night of the soul. It is the guide through the shadow. It represents the part of God's nature that does not shield us from the storm, but equips us to survive it, to fly over the waters of our personal chaos until we find our own Ararat, our own place of rest. This understanding transforms the raven from a bit player in a children's story into a central archetype of the spiritual journey. And if you think that is a profound thought, wait until we delve into the scientific marvels of this creature. For God's creation is a physical testament to spiritual truths. The intelligence of the corvid family ravens and crows is the stuff of legend in the scientific community. They use tools. They hold grudges. They have funerals for their dead. They can plan for the future, a cognitive ability once thought to be uniquely human. They can solve complex puzzles that require multiple steps. What does this tell us? It tells us that when God chose the raven for these critical biblical missions, he was not choosing a simple-minded automaton. He was choosing a being of profound cognitive ability. A being capable of understanding a complex command, of navigating a global catastrophe, of faithfully providing for a prophet day after day. This isn't just a quaint story. It is a testament to God's wisdom in utilizing the full spectrum of his creation. The raven's brain is a physical manifestation of the wisdom God imbued in the natural world. The book of Proverbs tells us to look to the ant to learn diligence. Perhaps we should look to the raven to learn intelligence, adaptability, and resilience. The raven is a feathered testament to the mind of God. And the next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know, a secret that connects the raven to the deepest mysteries of Christology and the very nature of sacrifice itself. We must talk about the raven's diet. It is a scavenger. It consumes death. To the ancient mind, this made it unclean, a creature that carried the taint of corruption. But let's reframe this through a cosmic lens. What if the raven's role is to be a cleanser, a purifier? By consuming the dead, it removes the decay from the land. It transforms death into the energy for its own life. It is a natural agent of purification, albeit in a way that is uncomfortable for us to behold. Now, consider the central tenet of Christianity, the crucifixion. Christ, on the cross, took upon himself the sin and death of the world. He became, in a spiritual sense, the ultimate scavenger. He consumed the death that was due to us. He touched the unclean thing and made it clean by taking it into himself and overcoming it. The raven, in its earthly biological function, is a living, breathing, flying metaphor for this very principle. It is a creature that interacts directly with death, and by doing so, sustains life and cleanses the environment. This is a staggering parallel. The raven, the unclean bird, becomes a symbol of the most profound redemptive act. It is a paradox at the heart of the gospel, that which was deemed cursed becomes the source of salvation. This is why God chose raven, because it embodies the shocking, counterintuitive, and majestic nature of his plan to use the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, and the weak things to shame the strong, to use a creature of the void to bring forth hope, a creature of the wilderness to provide sustenance, and a creature associated with death to point us toward eternal life. This journey we have begun is far from over. We have only scratched the surface of this mystery. We have yet to explore the raven in the mythology of other ancient cultures. The Norse god Odin, who had two ravens, Hugin and Munin, thought and memory, who flew across the world to bring him information, making him the all-seeing, all-knowing God. Is this a demonic distortion of a divine truth? A remnant of a primordial understanding of the raven as a divine messenger? We have yet to delve into the Kabbalistic interpretations of the Orev and its connection to the Sephiroth, the tree of life. We have yet to unpack the prophetic implications of the raven in the end times as a sign in the heavens. The layers are infinite, because the wisdom of God is infinite. And this is where you come in. What you have witnessed today is more than a video. It is an invitation to see the world and the Word with new eyes. This knowledge is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be shared. The Bible tells us to be kind to one another, to love our neighbors, and to spread the good news to the ends of the earth. In our digital age, you have a powerful tool to do just that. If this revelation has touched you, if it has opened your mind to the hidden depths of God's creation, then I invite you to act. Help me spread this word. Help me bring this message of God's mysterious and magnificent design to every corner of the globe. By simply clicking the like button, you tell the algorithm that this is content worth sharing. By subscribing, you ensure you do not miss the next layer we will peel back in this ongoing investigation. And most importantly, by leaving a comment below with a short prayer for understanding, for revelation, for your own journey through the wilderness, you create a fellowship of seekers. You create a digital congregation. Your single comment, your single click, can cause a ripple effect that reaches someone across the world who is in their own personal flood, their own wilderness, and who desperately needs to hear that God sends ravens, even in the darkest of times, that He has not abandoned them, that the creature of the void is also the herald of a new dawn. So pray with me now in the comments. Let your voice be heard. And know this, our exploration is not ending here. We have merely opened the first seal. The story of the raven is intertwined with the mystery of the Elijah to come, with the two witnesses of Revelation, with the very fabric of time and prophecy. What does it mean that the raven is the first and the last bird mentioned in the sequence of the flood narrative? What is the significance of its flight pattern? These are questions for our next meeting. The secret is waiting. The truth is deeper still. Stay vigilant. Stay curious, and may you always recognize the divine messengers, even when they wear black feathers. So here we stand at the edge of the revelation, looking back at the path we have walked together. We began with a simple, haunting question: why a raven? And the answer has proven to be a key that has unlocked layers of cosmic truth we never imagined. We journeyed back to the very beginning, to the tohu wabau, the formless void, and we saw that the raven's black plumage is not the color of evil, but the color of primordial potential, the very canvas of creation upon which God painted the universe. It is the living memory of the beginning. We stood on the deck of the ark, on the waters of a drowned world, and we witnessed the true mission of the raven. It was not a failure. It was a divine sentinel, a creature of the in-between, patrolling the chaotic waters just as the Spirit of God hovered over the deep. It is the guide through the great transitions, the companion in the liminal space between death and rebirth. We trekked with the prophet Elijah through the scorching wilderness, at the very brink of despair, and we discovered that God's provision is not always gentle. Sometimes it is rugged, resilient, and intelligent. He sends the raven, the ultimate survivor, to sustain us in our most desolate hours, proving his grace is tailored for our survival. We delved into the very language of God, into Hebrew, and found the root of its name, Orev, tied to Erev, the evening, the threshold. We saw it celebrated in poetry as a symbol of vibrant power, and heard God himself in the whirlwind declare his intimate care for it, shattering our man-made labels of clean and unclean. And in our most breathtaking leap, we saw the shadow of the cross fall upon this mysterious bird. We saw in its role as a scavenger a consumer of death, a stunning physical metaphor for the work of Christ on the cross, the one who took upon himself the sin and death of the world, transforming our decay into his glory, making the unclean clean by the ultimate sacrificial act. The raven is not a minor character. It is a master key to understanding the profound, paradoxical, and majestic nature of God. A God who uses the void to create, the wilderness to sustain, and the symbol of death to point us to eternal life. This is not information to be filed away. This is a truth that demands a response. This is a revelation that must be lived. And right now, you have a holy responsibility. You have been given a piece of hidden manna, a fragment of light from the throne room. What will you do with it? Will you let it end with you? Or will you become a raven yourself, a messenger carrying this truth across the digital wilderness to those who are starving for a word from God? This is my call to you. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is threefold. First, confess and connect. The journey always starts within. I want you to go down into the comments right now and make this personal. This is your altar call. Write your confession. Confess your need for God in your wilderness. Confess that you have misunderstood his methods. Or write your short prayer. A prayer for revelation, for sustenance, for guidance through your own personal flood. Or testify. Declare what God has done in your life. How has he sustained you with ravens you never expected? Your comment is not just text on a screen. It is a stone in a digital cathedral we are building together. A testament to a living, active, mysterious God. Second, spread the word with fire. Do not let this stop here. I am charging you. I am commissioning you. Share this video. Share it with your family, your friends, your small group, your online community. Do not be shy. Do not be silent. Share it with at least 10 people or more. Send it to the person who came to your mind while watching this. Why? Because when you share this, you are not just sharing a video. You are releasing a key. You are handing someone a map for their wilderness. You are pointing a lost soul toward the God who sends ravens. You are participating in the Great Commission, using the tools of our time to spread an ancient, eternal truth. You are extending God's blessing to countless others. Third, bear the mantle. By subscribing and turning on notifications, you are saying, I am a seeker. I want to go deeper. You are ensuring that when the next layer of this mystery is revealed, you will be there. We are just getting started. The deepest secrets are still ahead. When this video reaches more souls, it is not about numbers. It is about transformation. It is about a single mother finding hope that God hasn't abandoned her. It is about a struggling student understanding that his intelligence is a gift from God. It is about a weary saint realizing that their dark night has a purpose and a guide. You are the messenger now. You hold the feather. You have seen the truth hidden in the Bible. The question is, what will you do with it? The comment section is open. The share button is waiting. The world is watching. Let them see the light that you have found. Go, be the raven. Carry the word.